Hey guys, my name is CJ. These guys could potentially keep your property safe pretty much forever. Interested? Let's take a look. Right, so enough with the clickbaity introduction. What am I actually talking about? Well, what we've got here is the new Swann MaxRanger 4K security camera system, and unless you've been living under a rock, the Swann brand has been a bit of a household name since the 80s, producing DIY security solutions for consumers and enterprise users alike. So we've got a lot of pedigree here. In any case, there's a ton of different home security products out there, all at different price points, with brands ranging from budget options like Wisecam to more mainstream pricier options from Arlo or Ring and even Google themselves. So it's often hard to stand out. So here, the MaxRanger 4K has a name that's pretty self-explanatory. It can shoot in 4K using a Sony Starvis sensor, which already places it right at the top when it comes to competitors. And of course, it's all about that range, max range. All the more evidence thanks to this massive antenna that sticks out the side. And for good reason too, because the MaxRanger 4K uses a dedicated 900 MHz signal to transmit data to the included hub that we'll talk about later, and that can transmit signals 600 meters away in open air or 200 meters with typical environments with different obstacles. So automatically it's perfect for people with larger homes, properties, farms, acreage, small businesses, and older heritage homes where you've maybe got thick double brick walls. Now, I live in a much more modest 3-bedroom townhouse in urban Adelaide in Australia. So on one hand, it's probably overkill, but on the other hand, I can be pretty confident that it'll never have any signal interference or interruptions at all. And in the last month of using it, that's been proven right. It's been absolutely solid. And what also would be solid is you doing me a solid by liking and subscribing if you haven't already. That would be so appreciated and helps out the channel massively. In any case, the hub that's included is a pretty large white box that looks like it'll fit right next to any router setup. Just take my Deco Wi-Fi 6E mesh router sitting right here. It doesn't look out of place, does it? On the back, it's got ports for HDMI, Ethernet, USB, and MicroSD expansion. And I love that it comes packaged with a card with 64 gigs of storage, so you don't necessarily need to go out and fork out for another one separately. But it also means you can easily expand it up to 256 gigs via a MicroSD card. But if you really want to max it out, you can connect an external hard drive via USB and get up to 5 terabytes of storage. And if that's not enough, you've got an option to expand it to Dropbox as well, or simply use Swann's own subscription service called Secure Plus. Now, unless you absolutely need other features in the subscription service like pet recognition, lock screen alert showing you images, or a bit of extended warranty, well, you can absolutely get by without a subscription. And this for me is one of the biggest perks with a product like this. You pay a single time and will have access to pretty much 90% of what all other security products out there with a subscription fee would include. Without paying a single dime extra, you can have access to high quality security footage without any monthly fees. And then when storage is full, it'll simply continue overriding the oldest footage, just like all the other home security cameras, of which I've reviewed a few previously. And the other unique feature here with the hub is that it comes with a separate battery source as well. So if your house has a blackout and the internet cuts out, the hub actually stays powered on and it can continue recording for another 5 hours, which is pretty damn cool. Then speaking of batteries, the cameras themselves, they each have a 12,600 milliamp hour battery that can be charged via USB-C on the back, or interestingly enough, via an inbuilt solar panel on the top of the camera itself. This is a pretty unique feature that I personally haven't come across yet for any other consumer product. Now, of course, all other security camera solutions out there will have separate solar panel accessories that you can buy, but knowing that this is an all-inclusive solution with all features baked straight in out of the box is pretty unique, and I love that. I've often been put off by brands with hidden additional costs when all you want is an easy, hands-off experience where everything just works straight out of the box. The MaxRanger 4K ticks a lot of these boxes. Now, of course, solar panels are only as good as the light it receives, combined with how power hungry it's been set up to be. Now, I've been using these guys for the last month or so during Adelaide's winter, which does have pretty limited daylight, unfortunately. And admittedly, before starting this up and using it and mounting it up, I didn't fully charge either cameras, and they actually started at around 70 to 75% before getting them started. And then since getting them set up, they're now down to about 35% battery each with just continuous use. So clearly during the winter in Adelaide in Australia, it can't keep the battery fully charged. And this is despite one being in a north-facing position with a pretty clear line of sight to the sun's path during the day. Funnily enough, the camera situated in the backyard is basically in perpetual shade during winter, and it also seems to be holding on to about the same level of battery as the front. Though admittedly, it doesn't get nearly as triggered as much, where the only subjects it sees is usually me and my wife coming and going for work every day. In any case, a month's worth of use and draining about 35% of battery life in less than ideal environmental conditions is still pretty great in my opinion. And this can only improve as the weather warms up. Hey guys, Editor CJ here. It's actually been a couple of weeks since I originally shot the original A-roll for the video. So after shooting the video and before I remounted it back up onto the wall, I actually charged the camera all the way back up to 100% and I repositioned it so that the solar panel faced just a little bit more towards the morning sun. And lo and behold, over the last couple of weeks, it's only really lost a measly 4%. And by my calculations, that is way better than the battery life that I was getting before. Now, admittedly, the backyard camera still is draining at pretty much the same rate as previous, but that's not surprising considering that still doesn't get any sunlight during the day. So right now, the backyard has gone from 100% down to about 84%, which just about matches the amount of battery life that I was getting previously. But that 4% from the front camera gives me a lot of confidence that these cameras, as long as they can see enough sun, can truly keep itself forever charged. In any case, back to the video. Now, on top of the reduced sunlight, winter in Adelaide also results in a lot of rain. The MaxRanger 4K has an IP66 rating, and so far, it's held up perfectly well. Now, we'll have to see if it continues to do so on the longer term, but I'm pretty confident that it'll be fine, thanks to Swann's pedigree, and also you see all the different seals around the camera. Now, of course, having a good camera is only as useful as the software and how easy it is to get started out of the box. Unfortunately, setting up the MaxRanger was super easy and quick. I connected the hub with the included HDMI cable to a TV, which just happens to sit next to one of my mesh routers. And initially, I was a little confused when a mouse came bundled with the hub, but it turns out you use this mouse to navigate the hub's operating system directly, which is just another way to access its settings and customize things to your heart's content. But in any case, with the hub connected to your network and a screen, all you need to do next is just turn on the cameras and they will automatically pair with the hub. Honestly, they come pre-paired before you even start it up. There was literally nothing I needed to do but wait a brief moment and bang, the cameras showed up on my TV. And even if it didn't pair straight away, you simply press that pairing button on the back of the camera and it'll search for the hub to pair with very quickly. And so the setup was just incredibly painless. And if you wanted to, there's enough channels on the hub to connect up to 8 different cameras for a fully kitted out system. Now, for some people, they just want a very simple home solution and you can just leave it there and you just customize the settings every now and then from the mouse using your TV as the target and forget it, just like any other traditional security setup. But of course, you buy a product like this in 2024 so you can monitor your home anytime, everywhere when you wanted to remotely. So you can yell at any intruders via the two-way talk when your phone buzzes, and this is all done via the Swann security app. Now, of course, you unfortunately do need to sign up for an account, but as long as you're on the same Wi-Fi network as the hub, it'll at least pair it very quickly. From there, you can then make tweaks to your settings like any other security system. You can set sensitivities, how long to record when detected, map out where on the image to trigger notifications. You can perform software updates where required, and you can view nice, high quality recorded footage and a ton of other things. So on balance, the MaxRanger matches pound for pound the most important features in a modern security system and only really misses out on some other nice to have features like pet or facial recognition. Though I think some of these are just exclusive to the subscription service, so they're not actually missing these features, they're just locked behind a paywall, which is a bit of a shame. But in the end, it still has smarts to recognize people, vehicle, and heat with Swann's AI True Detect Plus. But it has on occasion flagged my dog as a person in the backyard, which is kind of funny. But more often than not, it just simply doesn't register my dog at all when it goes outside to use the toilet. Now the app itself I think could be a little more intuitive to use. It's not always clear where to find certain features. So for example, there's an activity tab which tells you how many triggering events happened in a certain day, but it doesn't really give you any preview or context. Instead, you have to tap on the numbers and then it gives you a big list that you can then access. And you can also access these on the Playback tab as well. Then you've got the live view that automatically starts streaming footage when you turn it on, which will probably chew up a little bit of battery, but you can at least turn this off in settings so you can save that battery life. Then when you go into an individual camera, the UI is pretty basic and does what you would expect it to be able to do. You can trigger it to start recording video, take photos, turn on the microphone, turn on the lights, you name it, it'll probably be able to do that. And overall, the UI is pretty basic, but it's not always clear where you find individual settings and what settings are actually baked inside. And on top of this, I'm not a massive fan of how you actually customize the area where it detects. It works off relatively large blocks of red color to mark out where you mapped, and it just looks a little janky. Again, this is compared to a service like Ring, where you can really use individual points and really customize down to the pixel exactly what areas should be monitored to cause a trigger. But of course, all of these issues are software quirks that can be improved upon, and I hope that we can continue to see Swann work on their app to support the UI. But what really matters though is the connection and the image quality. And wow, what a difference a high quality sensor makes. Honestly, this is probably the best picture I've seen in any security camera so far. You've got options to view in high def or standard definition, but whenever I've streamed high def quality, I've honestly had no issues with lag. And of course, the picture is just so crispy, detailed, and vibrant. And if it's still not to your liking, you can also tweak the settings of the picture as well in the app. You can easily download the footage to your phone as well. So if you capture someone stealing from you or doing something dodgy on the front or the back of your house, this camera will pick up some serious detail that you can then show to your local police. And even at nighttime, image quality is really bloody good. Often looking at footage from my Ring outdoor camera at night is just a bit of a blurry gray mess. But the MaxRanger 4K actually looks like there's details at night, even with the black and white infrared night vision. You can actually make out individual leaves and pavers. And then if it sees someone, the inbuilt LEDs provide enough light to spit out a really nicely detailed color image, and honestly just looks so good. It's got one of the best, if not the best image quality out there for security cameras or equivalent products. And that's pretty much it. I've been really stoked to use the MaxRanger 4K over the last month or so. And aside from just a few minor software quirks, I think it's excellent value for someone looking for a really easy to use, easy to set up security camera system. It shoots really excellent quality videos, and it just has so many features out of the box with next to no extra hidden costs. Honestly, I have absolutely no hesitation in recommending this system to anyone who isn't already invested in a specific ecosystem. The 2-camera package I've been using costs about 949 Australian dollars recommended retail, which admittedly is on the pricier side of things, but it does already include everything you need to get started without any added costs. Compare that to an Arlo 2 4K system with 2 cameras and a hub that costs $799 Australian recommended retail. By the time you add on solar panels and a subscription, you can be pretty certain it's going to end up costing more than the MaxRanger 4K for feature parity. And honestly, I've mentioned this before, but not having to pay a subscription to access recorded video is one of the biggest wins for me. Plus, it does help that this was designed and developed in Australia as well, so that's cool. In any case, if you're interested in one of these, there'll be a link in the description below for you to check them out. But what do you guys think? Is this something that you'd use? Let me know why or why not in the comments section below. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, give us a like, subscribe for more, and ding the bell icon so you don't miss out. Stay safe out there, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.